Hi everyone, Stepan here. Today I'm going to play another training game in my goal to reach 2100 on lichess classical by the end of November. If you've seen yesterday's game, then you know that I was an exchange up in a good position, blundered like a moron and ended up drawing the game. Okay, today I have white against somebody who has 11 more rating points than me. Okay, so yesterday's game, my opponent played the weird queenside castling plan against the Italian. Didn't work for him. I won a pawn and then exchanged, then gave the pawn back to sort of relieve some of the pressure of the position, and then just blundered an exchange. The point is, I often blunder in positions where I'm better because I start to underestimate my opponent, I start to get overconfident and stuff like that. Okay, let me focus on this game. So we have an open Tarrasch French where my opponent played the move c5. After e takes d5, he can either take the pawn with the queen or with the pawn. Taking with the pawn very often results in an isolated queen's pawn for black. So in this position, I can play several moves. I can take on c5, which is not the best move. I can play bishop b5 check to develop my bishop with tempo. I can then follow that up with queen e2 check to develop my queen with tempo, or I can just play knight f3. All are playable. I've played all of them. In this game, I don't know. So my goal is to play knight b3 and knight d4 to blockade the pawn, so to have both of my knights blockading d4, and for that I don't really mind trading off the light squared bishop, so usually when I keep it on d3 it's a good attacking piece, but I'm going to play positionally, so I want to trade this piece off. If he plays knight c6, I'm going to play queen e2 and knight f3, or just take on c5, although I'm not sure. So if I take on c5, bishop c5, knight b3 is with tempo, then I'm stopping queen to a5 in any positions where, since I don't have my pawn on d2, that can often be a deadly check that wins the b bishop. Once more, thank you for leaving the comments about the streaming time and the streaming format. In the last video, I'm going to keep bothering you with this for the next 5 or 6 training game videos before I actually start streaming. So once more, if you can, please leave a comment about which time, Croatian time, would suit you best for a live stream, which time would you most prefer to watch me play training games live. Please convert your time to Croatian time, and also let me know which time format would be ideal for you. Just note that anything under 15 plus 15 I don't want to play, because I think it's a waste of time to play games in which you don't have time to calculate and think properly. So recommend the time control. I'm going to do a statistical analysis of both the time controls and the times in which you want me to stream. And then I'm going to listen to you. If a stream at 4 AM Croatian wins, well, I'm going to do that. But I doubt it. Most of you so far have been voting for evenings Croatian time. I guess that's fine for both you guys in Europe and you guys in America. Because as far as I know, in most of America, when it's 8 PM Croatian, it's about 1, 2 or 3 PM your time. So it's fine. So anyway, sorry for the digression. My opponent decided to trade the bishops off, which I'm happy to see. Now I have two options here. I can either play knight f3, allow him to play c4 and then play c3, so leaving him with a weak pawn on d4, or I can take bishop takes, knight b3, bishop b6, knight f3 and castles. But the problem is, if he takes with the knight, then taking on c5, he can take with the knight again, thus preventing me from playing knight to b3, but then, on the other hand, not developing his bishop. So he will have moved his knight twice instead of moving the knight and the bishop. So I think it's correct to take with the queen here, and then to play knight c6 later on, because the knight is undoubtedly much better on c6 than on d7. So okay, those are just my thoughts. If you want to watch the theory of the Tarrasch French, I made a video a while back, more than a year ago now. You can find it in the French defense series, French defense theory series, and in the E4 theory series, which is titled chess opening theory. But okay, so now if I take on c5 and he takes with the bishop, I have knight b3. If I take on c5 and he takes with the knight, I have knight f3. If I play knight f3, he can take, I can take, which is fine. If I play knight f3 and he plays c4 or b6, then he doesn't have an isolated pawn. So I'm just going to take. I don't want to complicate stuff. I want to play positionally in a position I know. So the patterns revolving around blockading the d5 IQP, I've played a ton of times, both in the Caro-Kann as well as black, and in against the French as white. I think he needs to take with the bishop. I think taking with the bishop is correct, because moving the knight twice isn't a good idea. Although if he takes with the knight, he gets the e4 square, which I trade, then he doesn't have an isolated pawn anymore. Okay, I think he should have taken with the bishop. So now just develop castle. If he plays queen e7, I'm really happy to trade the queens off here. Just wanted to say that, because he has a structural weakness and I don't. So I'm the one who wants to trade pieces. If he does trade, though, it's not going to be a very exciting game. But okay. And the thing is, if he castles queenside, I still have time for rook e1, king f1. Sorry for playing fast here, but this is the only move I can play. And I want to save time. Yesterday I was 5 minutes down and then in a position in which I blundered. I think I blundered partially because I didn't want to take too much time off my clock. Wow, he's trading everything off with an isolated pawn on d5. That's very strange. Okay, so now, how do I prevent his knight from getting useful squares? That's the question. I need to develop. And I need to... Okay, well, first things first. Does he threaten anything if he manages to play rook e8 check? I don't think so. Second thing, where do I put my bishop? If I move my d2 knight, his knight has e4, which I never want to allow. If I move my f3 knight, then my h2 pawn is probably hanging. If I play b2, I'm weakening the dark squares. But if I play b2, his knight doesn't have a4, if that means anything. And I sort of want my bishop on the long diagonal, so I think that b3, if I play b3 to play bishop b2. So I think b3 is the most sensible move for as long as he doesn't have bishop e5. But the problem is then, if I play b3, he can go knight e4 and I can't take, because if I take, e takes, and he is misplacing my f3 knight. But he still has to play knight f6, so I'm just going to play b3 and develop. This position is looking extremely boring and extremely equal. But I always have the small edge of having the isolated queen's pawn I'm going to blockade. And as you can see, now another piece is coming into the blockade. The more I think about it, I'm never going to take his knight off of e4 because I want to keep the pawn blockaded. Now, this is another structural concession that he played, pawn to f6, because now his knight doesn't have such a pleasant square to develop to. And the thing is that after he plays knight f5, so, okay, my thinking here, h3, knight f5, knight d4, what does he do? h3, knight f5, knight d4, he has to trade. If he goes to e7, then his knight is probably too passive over there. If he goes to f7, planning to come into e5, I'm not sure I'm worried about that. Now, the second question is, do I have to stop knight to g4? Well, another thing is, if I play knight d4, I never want my h2 pawn to be hanging. It's true that I have g3, trapping the bishop, Bobby Fischer trap, but maybe that's imprecise. Maybe h3 is more precise. Okay, whenever I want to play an automatic move, I need to stop and find a better one. Can I get my rook into play? Is rook d1 just a better move than all of this that I was talking about? Rook to d1, threatening to move the knight, win the pawn. Makes a lot of sense. How does he defend it? If I play rook d1, what does he do? So rook d1, knight f5, knight d4. Rook d1, knight f5, knight d4. Let's say rook e8, check, king f1. Rook d1, knight g4, threatening to take the h2 pawn. If he takes with the bishop first, I can still play g3 and his bishop is trapped. If he takes with the knight first, then I take and play g3. So knight g4 is not a threat. I'm going to play rook d1 because h3 seems like a horrible waste of time if it's not necessary. Rook d1 is much better. Now, when I play knight to b1, coming into c3, his d5 pawn will just be loose. Okay, so what's the point of that? He wants to check me, I guess, on a5, but why? What's the point of that check? So knight b1, bishop a5 check, king f1. So what? Maybe he wants to play knight e4 and bishop b6. So maybe I should just play for the blockade instead of winning the pawn. Nimzovich said in his book My System and Blockade that a passed pawn, an isolated pawn, an isolated pawn, especially isolated queen's pawn, needs to be blockaded and rounded up and won only when the situation is perfect. And I'm going to try to listen to him here. So if I play knight b1 here, firstly I'm misplacing my knight. I'm undefending the e4 square. I'm allowing knight e4. But I still don't see a problem with that. The other idea is knight d4, after which he can play knight f5. He can't play knight f5, but so what? I don't think I'm afraid of bishop a5 check. I don't think I'm afraid of bishop b6 and knight e4 either. So I'm just going to play knight b1 to see what he does. Let's just see if he defends. If he plays rook to e8, I'm going to get my knight into c3, and there's no way. Sorry, I didn't mention that. So if he plays rook to d8, then knight c3 wins the pawn, and oh no, he has bishop a5. Then that's what I missed. Okay, I missed that. But then I can slowly just do a3 b4 and. Yeah, okay. So now knight c3, bishop a5, a3, he has to take my knight. Knight c3, bishop a5, a3, knight e4, double attacking my knight, but then b5. Okay, I need to be precise here. What about a3 first? Just stopping any tricks. Does he have a way to defend? He has time for knight f5 and then d4. No, but he doesn't. Because if I play a3 here, what can he do? a3, bishop b6, b4, knight e4, attacking my f2 pawn. Yeah. Okay, knight c3, bishop a5, a3, knight e4, b4, bishop b6. And it's a trade because he is attacking f2. Okay, I'm still going to play knight c3 and see what happens. I don't want to be wasting too much time. I think it has to be the best move here. The question is just, should I be trading my f2 pawn for his d5 pawn? The answer to that is no. But I can always trade off on e4 if I want to do it. And now the question is king f1 or a3. Because king f1 may actually be a better move. Because his knight is not on e4 yet. So I'm just going to play king f1. And if he gives up the bishop, I'm very happy blockade is in place. Yeah, he gets the e4 square, but I get my bishop. Okay. So do I play knight d4 first? Okay, wait. I need to slow down. Okay, so bishop d4 seems very good. He will have a knight on e4, I will have a knight on d4, but I can play the move f3, he cannot play e5 or c5. And if I play bishop d4 and he plays knight e4, I can then take on a7. So he basically has to trade. So I don't think there's a problem with this. I'm going to take with the knight, of course, and my position will be great. Or he can do that. But, and is he now threatening knight e4? I think I want to stop knight e4 with f3. So the more I look at it, the more I like knight e1 for playing f3. This has turned out to be a very positional game. So knight e1, if he takes on d4, it's fine. If he plays rook e8, I play f3. Well, really, whatever he plays, I play f3, unless he plays knight e6, which is then a double attack on my bishop. But then I can just retreat, and I've taken away the square from him. Okay, so I like knight e1. I'm going to do that. It's probably, the engine is probably say that the move is rubbish, but I don't know. I sort of like my knight better on d3 than on f3, and I want to play f3 to stop knight e4. Knight e6 doesn't worry me. I have to say it doesn't worry me because bishop b2. And even if he does manage to play the move d4 now, I play knight d3, and the pawn is still blockaded. The best move to the best piece to blockade with is a knight, not a bishop. So this exchange of blockaders actually suits my position. Now he no longer has the e4 square. Whenever he plays knight c5, trying to get into e4, I play f3, and my knight has a perfect outpost on d3. So positionally, I would say I am better now. Is it enough to win? No, it's not. The position is equal. But positionally, I should be slightly better. Okay, let's stop any advances. I think it was a good game from both of us so far. My bishop is worse than his knights. That's obvious because all of his pawns are on dark squares. But not by much, definitely not by much. I need a plan here. Rook e1 seems like an aggressive move. I'm never going to win this pawn. I need to activate my pieces. This is a position in which all of your pieces have to be more active than your opponent's pieces, and I already have a worse minor piece, so my b2 bishop, until I put it on a3, is not going to be a good piece. When I put it on a3, it's going to be fine, but I'm going to be leaving a horrible hole on d4, which I think I should be tending to. So if any knight jumps into d4, I need to snap it off. Yep, I need to take. And now he's forcing me to defend passively with rook c1. Well, I don't really have to defend this, because if he takes with his knight, I can just play rook c1 and win the knight. So I can do some damage while he is doing his own stuff. So what's a useful move here? What's a useful move here with the knight? Or maybe with a king. With a king. Okay, if I move my knight into f4, what am I threatening? If I move my knight into b1, there's nothing. I like knight f4 to try and challenge his knight. Okay, I'm going to play knight f4. Okay. Now I have to defend, but not really, because I can now play rook to d1. Think. So rook d1, if he takes, I can take on d5. Yeah, so rook d1 seems like a good move here. If he defends, he can't really defend, because I have knight to d3 check. So okay, rook d1 is what I planned, so I'm going to do that. Oh, king c5 would be a nice blunder. Knight d4, king d4, knight e6 check, winning. And now the knight is no longer that strong when my rook can defend from d2. Rook c1 was just a very passive defense. Yeah, there's no way for him to defend. Jesus, I think he's lost, because even if he plays king e5, I take the knight, and king takes knight e6 check. Yeah, I didn't realize rook d1 was this strong. It's very strong. Yeah. He missed it, I guess. Although he does have a lot of pawns. This is actually not an easy ending to win. It's not easy. He wins a ton of pawns. Now I need to really start thinking. I don't know about this. I don't know, I think I might be worse. I'm a piece up and I think I might be worse. Okay, so probably I need to approach with the king. King e2, king b3, king d3, king a4. Knight c6. Maybe he calculated the ending and he knew he was winning after I take the piece. So either king e2 or knight c6. Knight c6, king b3, knight d4 check, king a4. What's my knight doing? Nothing. I need to get my king into the center. King e2, king b3, king d3, king a4, king c3. I want to get my king to c3. Okay, so I'm just going to march my king up the board. I need to get my king into play, otherwise I'm just going to lose. He plays d4 first. I missed that. No, I didn't miss that. Okay, it's fine. I have a knight c6. Okay, I was calculating that because I have this check. Okay. Whew. But, and sorry for not mentioning this, I was looking at this and I didn't think he should go for that because now I just have a piece for 2 pawns. Yeah. And it should be just a draw. That's a funny draw. I don't think I've ever seen a draw like this. Whoa, okay. Piece up. And this was... here's something I told Valerio. He's a patron and a student and a friend. Why do my games always have to be interesting? Why can't I just have a normal, peaceful game in which nothing is happening and it's like a clean win or a clean draw or a clean loss? It always has to be something. Congratulations to my opponent for giving up a piece like that. And I need to start thinking more. Going into that endgame, thinking I was a piece up was a really beginner mistake. Material means nothing if the activity is better for the other side. As Garry Kasparov compared the three things that are important in every position: material, quality, and time. In this position, obviously, my opponent had time and quality, and I had material. Although, had I not played the move King E2, it would have been different. Okay, so where do I check him? I think Knight E2 is more precise. Knight B5 is also interesting. In any case, he will either have to go back or give up a pawn, or exchange B3 and A4 for D2. No, I'm going to check from E2 just to keep his king, to keep my knight defended. On B5 it's a tempo gain whenever he takes on A4. Yeah. Okay, good game. I don't know if I was winning. Let's see. It was a very good game. Okay. Let me read the comments. Isolated pawn plus better minor piece, blah blah blah. Now it's a draw. He shouldn't trade. Black is a bit better. What a blunder. Which move? What a blunder. Aha, probably the King E5. Okay. Okay, I don't know. I think King E2 was correct. Sorry for taking time to read the comments. Let's just look at the position. So white is slightly better. Okay. No, why is the engine turned on? Why is it always turned on? No. Disable. I don't like looking at my games with the engine, at least in the first run through the game. So all of this is fine. Yeah, I actually wonder about B3. What ideas do I have instead of B3? What do I do? If I try Knight D4, what do I achieve? Where does my bishop go? Still, I think he has the E4 square. I would play Knight F6 if I'm black. And now, okay, now I have Knight F5. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the engine for this move so that I don't waste too much time. Knight B3 best, H3, King F1. What about B3? B3 equal because of Knight E7 or Knight E6, which makes sense. F6, yeah, I think F6 wasn't necessary. Okay, let's see. Should be 2. Turn off. Yeah, okay, and Knight E1. Knight B1. Knight B1 best move. Now, yeah, Knight B1 best move, and after Knight B1, Rook to D8. Now my idea was either A3, King F1, or Knight C3. Knight C3 is best. Bishop A5, I played King F1, which is best. Bishop C3 has to be played, Bishop C3 has to be played. And he played Knight F5. G4. I didn't consider g4, but it makes sense. I played bishop d4, which is the second best. b6, and now g4 again. Knight e1 is a horrible move. Knight e1 is my first mistake. Okay. He played knight e6, bishop b2, king b7, knight to d3. White is still slightly better. a5, a4, king c6, still g4. Why didn't I think about g4? Okay. Rook e1, rook f to d4. c3, c3 is +4. Okay, I don't understand why. Let's see it. What if he takes on b3? What is... Oh. If he takes on b3, then his e6 knight is hanging. Why am I so blind sometimes? And actually, where does his knight go? What's the best move? The best move is to take. What if it goes back? No, still the knight is lost. Wow. Okay, this I would compare to my yesterday's blunder. It's just a stupid blunder. Bishop takes d4, horrible. Now the moment of truth. Okay. King e5, best move, it's a draw. Oh my god. And he played so fast. He played this so fast and he found the draw? That's impossible. That's impossible. King e2, d4, knight c6. We actually played an almost perfect game, apart from his knight d4 and my not seeing c3. This is insane. Okay, I hope you liked the game. I enjoyed it very much. It was very instructive. And this drawing mechanism I've never used before, using my king and knight to stop a pawn on the second rank. Let me know what you think about the game. Let me know if you would have played king e5 so quickly, like he did. Oof. Okay. Thank you very much. Please leave your suggestions for the time format and the streaming time in the comments below. And see you tomorrow. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye-bye.